What's up, guys? Coming to you today with a full slate of NBA and college basketball action here on Wednesday, January 21st. I'll give you my favorite picks on the side and over-under on each game. We're going to break down the biggest college basketball games of the night. I'll give you my favorite underdog pick of the day and my massive lock. So as a huge thank you to me, take that 10th of a second and slam that like button. It helps get the videos promoted out there on YouTube. It's a big part of keeping me motivated to grind out these videos every single solitary day. Also, take a second and check below, see if you are subscribed to the channel. The goal this year is to make it to 100,000 subscribers. That would be a big deal. One of my buddies kind of set that goal for me by sending me a text there on New Year's. So big shout out to him. Let's hope that we can make it. Seeing some growth on the channel recently has been really nice. So really appreciate all the new subscribers. Make sure you're getting down in the comments. Let me know anything you want to say about these videos, about any plays you're looking at out there across the sports world. I'm more than happy to get back to you. I at least read, if not read and respond to every single comment I get every single solitary day. Also, make sure you're checking the pinned comment throughout the day. That's the top comment below the video. That's where you'll find my favorite picks every single solitary day. Those are the ones I like the most from the YouTube video. So definitely make sure you're checking on the pinned comment and check back a couple times throughout the day just in case there are any changes. Yesterday, guys, a bit of a bloodbath out there. Not going to lie, some really bad luck tonight. We had the Bulls at -1.5. That was our, a nice little win there. We had Chicago -1.5 and no Kawhi and a tired Harden there for the Clippers. Great work from Kobe White and Buzelis along with the whole Bulls bench, amounted to a game that was basically over by halftime. So a nice, easy cash to start things off, but unfortunately, the Spurs imploded in the fourth quarter. A couple tough non-calls going against them in that game, but late in the game, but they just could not make anything. Went 0 of 11 from 3 in the fourth quarter, and absolute just like light the match and stand back game there from Reed Shepherd. He went nuts out there. So big shout out to the Rockets, I guess, but the Spurs really let that one get away. We had Michigan -15.5, a solid first half, but then they let Indiana hang around in the second half, and eventually the Wolverines win by 14. So just barely not enough for us. Also, some really terrible luck there on that over in the Auburn-Mississippi game. We see 144 points scored in a game where we had 55 points scored there in the first half. Absolutely crazy to not see that one get to the over, just based on what we saw in the second half. Clearly, there should have been more offense in this game. We also bricked out LSU, +15.5 as our dog of the day. A solid second half was not enough to get us the cover. Florida ending up with a 7-point possession in that game really sunk us. The Gators eventually win that one 79-61. We still have Purdue live on the money line as our massive lock of the day out there in UCLA. We'll see if they can come through. They were trailing by 5 there with like 12 minutes left in the second half. So we'll see if they can figure it out. I do still have quite a bit of faith in them, but overall a very rough day, just filled with bad beats. So let's go ahead and get back after it, guys. You hate to see days like this, but it is part of being in this industry. So let's go ahead and get after it. Tomorrow is a new day. First up, out of the gates here on the NBA side, we have the Cleveland Cavaliers going on the road to take on the Charlotte Hornets in a game that is going to be on ESPN. Cavaliers come into this game 24-20 on the season. They just got absolutely rocked by the Thunder their last time out. We were on the Thunder in that one, so well played there by OKC. Not a lot of good stuff cooking there. They really missed Darius Garland in that game. Jalen Tyson returned to earth and looked like a normal basketball player and not a god from outer space like he did in the game before. The bench looked terrible. All the issues that we've seen recently for Cleveland immediately cropped back up. It's looking almost for sure that we won't have Darius Garland. Oh no, definitely for sure Darius Garland will be out for this game. And Sam Merrill, dealing with that hand issue, has also been ruled out for this one. So it will not be the full strength Cavaliers as they head to Charlotte to take on the Hornets, who are fresh off a 110-87 kind of blowout win there in Denver. We were on the Hornets in that game as a premium play, so very nice to have them come through. Loving what we're seeing from this young squad. Brandon Miller, Concanopoulos, LaMelo Ball, Miles Bridges, a very solid core there. The bench played great in Denver. Kalkenbrenner having an especially nice night, putting up 17 points and 6 boards off the bench for him. The Hornets are playing really well right now. Got to give them props. Obviously, this isn't a team that's probably headed anywhere important this season, but just seeing this young core look so good together is a big step in the right direction for a long suffering franchise. So looking at the numbers here, guys, the Hornets are getting 2.5 points. Also, no injury news really at all for the Hornets. Still looking fully healthy in this game. The Hornets are getting 2.5 points. We got a total of 236.5. Cleveland is 8-11 against the spread on the road, 7-12 against spread after a loss, 23-21 to the under. Charlotte is 8-11 against spread at home, 7-8 against spread after a win, 25-18 to the under. So they are a huge under team, and with a total here of 236.5, I'm definitely going to be leaning towards the under. I don't think we're going to see some crazy offensive game in this one. I certainly think under is live. And in terms of a side, I will take the Charlotte Hornets here playing at home. The Cavaliers have not been great this season, especially playing on the road here. No Garland doesn't help. I do think the Hornets have what it takes to make this a close game. There's some size that could matter there for Cleveland, but give me the Hornets in this spot, especially playing at home. Next on the docket, guys, we're looking at the Indiana Pacers heading to Boston to take on the Celtics. The Pacers are 10-34 on the season. They just lost by 9 at Philadelphia, so they are not exactly having a great time this year. In that 113-104 loss, not a lot went right. They had no answers for Embiid. Siakam did have a pretty solid performance, but it did take him 21 shots to get to those 24 points. The bench came up pretty small there for the Pacers, so not a lot of great news. When you're losing kind of substantially in a game where you keep things better than even when you have an advantage on the boards and shoot 38% from 3, that is not a very good sign for what your team is doing. So we'll see if they've got a bounce back in them, but that does feel like a pretty big ask for a team that's pretty clearly, I mean, maybe not that clearly, but they are tanking it out this season. No Mathurin for them in this game. Other than that, they are healthy and ready to go, so maybe that'll help them as they head to Boston to take on the Celtics, who are 26-16 on the season, actually lost to the Pacers by 2 in Indiana a few games ago. The Celtics are coming off a 1-point loss there at Detroit in a game where they had to make a little bit of a comeback there late to make it a close game, but they did make it very close before eventually losing by 1. Jaylen Brown, a pretty good day, but it did take him 28 shots to get his 32 points. He also had 11 boards. We liked what we saw from Sam Hauser, 17 points from Peyton Pritchard, 10 off the bench from Luka Garza, but it was a pretty bad shooting night there for Anthony Simons, who is, the guy that usually depend on for scoring there off the bench. So we'll see what the Celtics can do in this one. Obviously going on the road here, or actually, honestly, so actually playing at home in this game could be very, very helpful coming off that 4-game road trip. Their injury report looks okay, except for Jaylen Brown is on there. Obviously, that's a massive concern. He's probable with left hamstring tightness. So seems like he'll definitely play in this game, but if he ends up having to go out, if that hamstring tightens up, that is a pretty large concern. Now, these two teams have quite a bit of history against each other this year. They've already played 3 times. The first game, the Celtics won by 8. The second game, the Celtics won by 18. And then the most recent game, we saw the Pacers win by 2 in a crazy game that had the Celtics all kinds of pissed off there at the referee. So we'll see what happens in this one. The Pacers are 8-12 against spread on the road, 15-18 against spread after a loss, 28-16 to the under. They're actually an NBA best to the under. Boston is 9-10 against spread at home, 9-6 against the spread after a loss. They're 24-18 to the under. Maybe we could take under 227.5 in this game, but that's mostly because I think the Pacers are going to have a really, really rough time out there. Boston is going to be extremely motivated for this game. This is a bit of a get-right spot for them coming off what they have deemed a very unjust loss, at least in their opinion, there against the Pacers the last time these two teams faced each other. So we definitely have to consider the Celtics here at -10.5. I think they're in very, very good shape in this game with a high level of motivation. Next on the docket, we're looking at the Brooklyn Nets heading to New York to take on the Knicks. So a little crosstown rivalry going on here. The Nets are 12-29 in the season, not exactly killing it. They're fresh off a 126-117 loss there to the Phoenix Suns. Michael Porter Jr. did play in that game, and 23 points and 23 shots is not a super efficient night. His incredibly hot shooting is cooling off a little bit. We're liking some of what we're seeing from this team, like Claxton's having some good games. We're liking what we're seeing from Noah Clowney at times, but overall, this Nets team is designed to tank, and it looks like they're pretty freaking good at it. So we'll see if they do anything meaningful around the trade deadline. Lots of talk about Michael Porter Jr. potentially being moved since he's too good to have on the team if they really want to effectively tank, but we'll see what happens. They are relatively healthy coming into this game. Day'Ron Sharpe really the only guy on the injury report, and he doesn't move the needle too much for me. They're going on the road to take on a New York Knicks team that is in really, really bad shape right here. They're 25-18 on the season. Brunson calling a players-only Knicks meeting or whatever they want to call it. We'll see what happens. They're fresh off a 114-97 loss there to the Dallas Mavericks, and that happened in Madison Square Garden, and the Boo Birds were out there. The Knicks fans were very, very displeased. They got absolutely destroyed there by the Mavs, and it wasn't a great showing. Cat played relatively well. He had 22 points and 18 boards. I'm not sure what more they really want from him at this point, maybe a little bit more on defense, but that's not really been his MO over the course of his season. Jalen Brunson came back from an ankle injury, but took 24 shots, only made 9 of them, and had 22 points. Mitchell Robinson had 12 points off the bench, but nobody played well off the pine. A really, really bad day out there for the Knicks, who are on a pretty bad streak right now. I mean, they've lost 5 out of their last 6 games. It is not looking so hot right now. It does appear that they're going to be pretty much fully healthy for this game. That's a big step in the right direction, but we got to see more commitment on the defensive end from this team and just a little bit more from them across the board in general. Now, the Knicks, the odds makers are not worried about this. They have the Knicks as 11.5 point favorites. We've got a total of 224.5. Brooklyn is 9-9-1 against the spread on the road, 15-12-1 against spread for a loss, 24-17 to the under. The Knicks have been really struggling at home lately, although they are still 14-8 against spread at home. They are 6-11 against spread after a loss. They are 24-20 to the over. Guys, I'm going to take the Brooklyn Nets here getting 11.5 points. It's just too many points with the way the Knicks are playing right now. Could they have this players-only meeting come out and play with their hair on fire in this one? Sure, it's possible. Am I going to say it's super, super likely? No. Am I going to put this in the pinned comment? It's got a fringe chance, guys, but I'm a little bit scared of the Knicks coming out as the far more talented team and playing a lot better. Before we break down the Atlanta Hawks heading to Memphis to take on the Grizzlies, we got to shout out the sponsor today in every day's video, and that is stumpthespread.com. Make sure you're clicking the link in the description to go over there and see the top confidence picks from our entire team of experienced cappers. Right now, our premium members are getting daily NBA, NHL, UFC, NFL, and college basketball picks. We've had a very, very solid run. Did give back a little bit there on a very, very rough Tuesday. It was a tough Tuesday both for the YouTube picks and the premium picks over there. But we were off a very, very hot run, so now is not the time to lose heart, guys. It's been a very, very solid NHL run over there up until this rough Tuesday. Great things have been happening over there at stumpthespread.com. And also, you got to keep in mind, I'm not the premium handicapper over there at stumpthespread.com. We have a team of experts covering all the major sports. They put in a crazy amount of work on a nightly basis. So when you have bad nights like what we saw on Tuesday, you know that is very unlikely to repeat itself. And it's honestly not a bad time to jump in because the bounce backs usually come very, very, very quickly. We've got a nice NBA slate. We've got a nice college basketball slate. There's lots going on in the NHL and across the sports world. So it's a good time to jump in over there as a premium member at stumpthespread.com. So definitely check out all the premium stuff over there, but you certainly have to check out all the free stuff. There's free picks every single solitary day under the free picks tab. Also, there's the free email newsletter, which is a fantastic resource covering all the major sports, guys. You could have free picks on college basketball or NBA or NHL, anything like that, but also covering all the crazy niche sports that you would never normally think about betting. Golf is a huge one. Just getting underway right now. Tons and tons of big golf writers. A big one went out just yesterday. Tons of player props or whatever the golf equivalent of player props is in there, and just tons and tons of great information. But not only golf, tennis, NASCAR, WNBA, UFC, all of those can be covered there in the niche sports section. There's parlays in there. There's player props. Everything you could possibly imagine in those emails. And it's absolutely free. It's very easy to sign up for those emails as well. You just go over there to stumpthespread.com, click that little login button, set up a free account. It's just going to ask you for your name and your email address. That's it. You get one email straight to your inbox every single day, just chock full of great sports betting information. So definitely don't miss out on that. Don't miss out on going to stumpthespread.com and purchasing a Stump Spread hoodie. If that's something you're interested in, we're selling them at cost right now with free shipping, so you definitely want to get in on that. And if you're a huge fan of what you're seeing from us here every single day, click that little join button right below the video to sign up for a YouTube channel membership. YouTube channel members get early access to all of our videos, get their name up on screen in every single video, but maybe most importantly, they get access to our members only giveaways. We do a random giveaway to one YouTube channel member. We put the name of every single YouTube channel member on a big wheel every single Monday. We spin that wheel, and whoever it lands on gets a free Stump Spread hoodie of their size mailed straight to their address of choice. So definitely get in on that if you guys are interested. Huge shout out to all my YouTube channel members. Really, really appreciate you guys. Now, let's go ahead and dive back in. Make sure you've hit that thumbs up button. Make sure you're subscribed to the channel. And let's get after it here with the Atlanta Hawks going on the road to take on the Memphis Grizzlies. The Hawks come into this game struggling pretty aggressively. I would assume Trae Young over there in Washington is looking at this and being like, well, I guess I wasn't the problem, because they've dropped 4 straight games, losing to the Bucks, Celtics, Blazers, and Lakers over that stretch. It does not look good. I mean, against the Bucks, it was just a 2-point loss, but it's a team you're definitely supposed to beat if you're the Hawks and you're headed in the direction you think you are. Nickeil Alexander-Walker had 32. Jalen Johnson had 28. CJ McCollum had 17 off the bench, and they lose this game by 2, despite, having a good time on the boards, but they had little to no answer for the shooting there of the Milwaukee Bucks. So things are not looking great there for the Hawks. They come into this game relatively healthy. No Riche still. Porzingis, I can't believe they talked themselves into signing Porzingis, thinking he was going to be healthy for them all season. There is something very, very wrong with that poor dude. Riche is going to be out at least another week. We got Porzingis now dealing with that Achilles. He's going to be reevaluated in 5 or 6 more days. So not a lot of good news on the injury report for the Hawks as they head to Memphis to take on the Grizzlies, who are back from their Europe trip. They lost in Berlin, then won in a blowout in London in a game where Ja Morant came back and played and looked like the best player on the floor. He had 24 points in that game, 7 of 13 from the field, 3 of 4 from 3, which is not something you can count on from him on a nightly basis. But he also had 13 assists, only 2 turnovers, has a steal, and was a plus 26 in this game. Jock Landale played great as well, 21 points off the bench from him. Well, all of a sudden, Josh saying all the right things. Maybe he will be staying with the Memphis Grizzlies. Maybe this is a function of there not being a lot of interest in picking him up there across the NBA. We'll see what happens. The Grizzlies come into this game looking healthy-ish. Santi Aldama is on the injury report. He's questionable due to right knee soreness. We also have Ty Jerome getting there in the injury report now. He's out for this game due to a right calf strain. We'll see when he's able to come back. Sounds like it's getting, in the realm of possibility, before too long. So look at the numbers, guys. The Grizzlies are 2.5-point favorites here at home. We've got a total of 236.5 in this game. Atlanta is 14-11 against spread on the road, 11-13 against spread after a loss, 23-22 to the over. Memphis is 9-11 against spread at home, 6-11 against spread after a win, 24-17 to the under. This game is a very tough one to call because I have absolutely zero faith in either one of these teams right now. Is Ja going to keep playing like this? Maybe. Also, maybe not, which we have a lot bigger sample size saying that he will not be playing like this. So we'll have to wait and see. Obviously, the Hawks have been terrible as well. I'm going to lean a bit towards Atlanta. They have been a good road team, so give me the Hawks here getting 2.5 points, but I cannot in good conscience recommend that anyone bet on this game. Rolling right along here, guys, we've got the Detroit Pistons heading to New Orleans to take on the Pelicans. The Pistons are 31-10 on the season, having a very good time out there. They're fresh off a clutch 1-point win there over the Celtics. I say clutch. They didn't play incredible down the stretch in that game, but it was good enough to get the job done. Just not the best second half ever. Tobias Harris actually led the team in scoring, putting up 25 points. 11 of 20 from the field. We do not usually want Tobias Harris taking 20 shots, but when Cade is going 4 of 17 from the field and 0 of 4 from 3, it is time for somebody else to step up. Cade did have 14 assists in that game, so it's not like he played terrible, he just shot the ball terrible. But overall, they find a way to get the job done against a very, very good Celtics team, so we'll see what they can put together in this one. They come into this game fully healthy, fully rested, and ready to go. That's a big, big deal. The only downside is when Karis LeVert is healthy, that takes minutes away from guys who are actually productive, like Jaden Ivey and Javonte Green, so honestly, we would be happier if Karis LeVert was out. But overall, they're healthy coming into this game to take on the Pelicans, who are fresh off a 9-point loss there at Houston. Lots of kind of crazy, just ups and downs for the Pelicans. Not a lot of ups, honestly. They have kept some games competitive. Zion keeps putting up good numbers, albeit in losing efforts, like 20 points, but you're a minus 17. Trey Murphy put up 21, but he was a minus 16. We're not loving anything we're seeing from the bench, really. I guess Jordan Poole had a decent night, but yeah, this team not usually very competitive on a nightly basis. It's been a bit of a bleak season for the Pelicans. They come into this game with the usual culprits on the injury report, Herb Jones and Jose Alvarado. Herb Jones is officially questionable for this game with a sprained right ankle, so it sounds like he's getting close to coming back. Whether it'll happen in this game or not is up in the air, and Jose Alvarado is going to be out for quite a while still. So look at the numbers. The Pelicans are getting 8.5 points here at home. We've got a total of 232.5 in this game. Detroit, they're 10-9 against spread on the road, 16-14 against spread after win, 23-17 and 1 to the under. The Pelicans are 14-10-1 against spread at home, 17-16 and 1 against spread after a loss, 24-21 to the over. Now, something we definitely have to take into consideration in this game is whether or not Detroit is going to be playing the front half of back-to-back, which they are not. Neither team is. So I'm going to take the Pistons here. I think they win this game by double figures. I think they're by far the better team. I think they actually have some options to guard Zion, which if Zion has a bad night, the Pelicans have very few options. I mean, not zero options, don't get me wrong. I don't think anybody think I'm casting aspersions here at Trey Murphy III, but I think the Pistons have a good enough defense they can hold down the Pelicans offensively, and they're going to put up tons of points. Heading into our last couple of NBA games before we hop over and cover that college basketball slate, we've got the Oklahoma City Thunder heading to Milwaukee to take on the Bucks on our second ESPN game of the night. Now, the Thunder, they've been amazing this season, as everybody knows. 36-8 overall. They're coming off that blowout 32-point win in Cleveland, where they just absolutely destroyed the Cavaliers. SGA had 30, a very casual 30. Chet Holmgren had 28 and was a plus 34. Dort had 18 and went 5 of 6 from 3. If Dort's making his threes, you know you're in really bad shape. Isaiah Joe played well off the bench. They shot 49% from 3 as a team. When the Thunder are making their shots, like what exactly are you supposed to do against them? It gets pretty crazy. Now, no J-Dub in that game. We'll be checking that injury report actually right now. Sounds like he's going to be missing a little chunk of time. And they're not fully healthy right now. They are dealing with quite a few injuries. J-Dub dealing with that hamstring issue, going to be out at least a couple weeks. Hartenstein dealing with that calf issue, has been officially ruled out for this game, but you would think he'd be getting relatively close to coming back, maybe. Caruso dealing with that groin issue is out, and Jalen Williams is questionable due to a left glute contusion. So they're not at full strength here as they head to Milwaukee to take on the Bucks, who are 18-24 on the season. They're coming off that 2-point win over the Hawks. It has not been smooth sailing for the Milwaukee Bucks this season. They had dropped 3 in a row before that and hadn't kept any of those games. Well, I guess that game against the Skeleton Crew there for the Nuggets was pretty competitive, but really have been having a rough time. Giannis put up 21 points in that win. Not really the, I'm not going to say it wasn't the focal point, because obviously Giannis is always the focal point. He had 21 points, 17 boards, and 6 assists. As a team, they shot 44% from 3. There are a lot of good shooters on this roster. Miles Turner having 14 points and knocking down 4 threes. One of his best games for the Bucks. That being said, he was still a -7. The bench played really well. Bobby Portis, 19 points off the pine, is a great productive night from him, but not something you can count on a night-to-night basis. So, looking at the injury report here, Miles Turner is on there. Kevin Porter Jr. is also on there. And Miles Turner, he's questionable due to a sprained left ankle. I'd be a little bit surprised to see him playing this game. Is that a big deal? I would kind of lean towards no. Kevin Porter Jr., is questionable versus the Thunder due to an oblique strain. We'll see what he can do out there. 28 pretty solid minutes there against Atlanta his last time out. So if he can't go, that is a little bit of a big deal, especially for this bench unit. So looking at the numbers, the Bucks are getting 9.5 points here at home. We've got a total of 226.5. The Thunder are 10-11 against spread on the road, 17-18 against spread after win, 22-22 to the over-under. Milwaukee is 8-11 against the spread at home, 5-12 against the spread after a win, 25-17 to the under. I think this is a bit of a rough situation here for the Milwaukee Bucks. I do not think they have the depth to deal with even a banged-up Thunder team. I think SGA is going to get whatever he wants out there. Giannis is not going to be guarding SGA, I'll tell you what. So I will definitely be taking the Thunder here to get the win and cover, despite the fact they're playing on the road. Next up, guys, we're looking at the Toronto Raptors heading to Sacramento to take on the Kings. Now, the Raptors are currently playing against the Warriors right now. They're up 91-65 in the third quarter. So things are going pretty freaking well for Toronto. I would say Golden State is pretty dispirited there by the Jimmy Butler news, but also Toronto shooting 58% from 3. That's a little bit tough to replicate. We'll see if they can do anything similar in this game. 29 points from Quickly, who's just having a transcendent night. He's 6 of 6 from 3 himself. So it's going pretty nuts out there. The Warriors do appear pretty disheartened, pretty downtrodden, but also there's only so much you can do in the team against who's making every single shot they take. So we'll see what the Raptors can do here on the back end of this back-to-back. The big questions for them have mostly been around the health of R.J. Barrett, but there are lots of guys that are missing the front half here of the back-to-back. It sounds like R.J. Barrett isn't impossible that he could come back and play in this game, but it sounds like he's not close. So yeah, it sounds like he probably won't be out there. Jakob Poeltl's been dealing with that back issue for a while. I'm not expecting him to come back. Jacoby Walter dealing with that hip issue. Maybe he could come back, but I'm not going to bet my life on it. And Colin Murray-Boyles with that thumb issue. I doubt he plays in this game as they head to Sacramento to take on the Kings, who are now down 94-81 there against the Heat. I'm not seeing a lot of good stuff going on for the Kings in this game. Seems like it's going to be pretty bleak. Their injury report is obviously not updated. There's no reason to think they won't be fully healthy, but I do question whether or not guys like Sabonis potentially, or maybe Zach LaVine, will be playing here in the second half of a back-to-back. Regardless, we do have numbers for this game already. The Kings are listed to get 5.5 points here at home. We've got a total of 223.5. Toronto is 11-10 against spread on the road, 2-6 against spread on no rest, 27-17 to the under. Sacramento is 10-13 against spread at home, 2-5 against spread on no rest, 24-19 to the under. Guys, this game is mostly a stay away spot for me, if I'm being honest, or at least until I get a very fully updated injury report. But all that being said, if you're begging me for a side, I will lean maybe tiny, slightly towards the Toronto Raptors here, -5.5, but much better than that. I'll just take under 223.5 in this game and call it a day because I really am not loving anything I'm seeing from either of these two teams. Now, let's go ahead and hop over. We've got a very nice slate of college basketball action to cover here on a very busy Wednesday. We're going to dive right in. Make sure you've hit that thumbs up button. Make sure you're subscribed to the channel. And let's take a peek at some college basketball action here, guys. First up, right out of the gates, we've got an interesting game. We've got the Maryland Terrapins heading to number 11 Illinois to take on the Fighting Illini. Maryland comes into this game 8-10 on the season. It has not been easy so far out in the Big Ten. They're only 1-6 overall. They are coming off a big 96-73 win there over Penn State. Penn State's still looking for their first conference win, so it's not like they beat anybody great, but they did come back from that California road trip and looked a little bit better for it. I mean, a nice game. They shoot the ball extremely well in that one. Obviously, we see 43 points in that game from David Coit. So that was absolutely insane. 9 of 15 from 3. They shoot 53% from 3 in this game. Not what you're used to seeing from the Terrapins. We'll see if they can keep anything like that rolling here in a much, much tougher matchup. In their game at UCLA, very, very recently, they did lose by, what was that, up to 12 or something like that. They got shelled against Indiana earlier in the season. They got kept it vaguely attached there against Michigan State, losing 101-83. We'll see what they can do in this one. Their rebounding numbers, their defensive numbers, and honestly their offense, all a little bit concerning to me here for the Terrapins. So we'll see what they can do in Illinois, taking on the Fighting Illini, who are 15-3 on the season. They are coming off of a 77-67 win over Minnesota, so well played there. They were at home for that one. We're loving what we're seeing from this Illinois team pretty much across the board. I mean, they're 27th in the nation rebounding. They're a very, very good defensive team. They're in the top 50 in total offense. There's just a lot to like about them. They've got good wins already over Iowa. They beat Penn State, albeit in a competitive game there at Penn State. They did lose to Nebraska by 3. They played a very close game at Ohio State, but they've also beaten Tennessee this year, so there's a lot to like about Illinois. One problem I have in this game, though, is they are 19.5-point favorites. That is a big number. We've got a total of 149.5 in this game. Maryland, they're 8-10 against the spread this year, 3-2 against the spread on the road, 12-6 to the over. Illinois is 11-7 against the spread this season, 6-4 against the spread at home, 12-6 to the under. Guys, I'm going to take Maryland here getting 19.5 points, and I'll tell you the main reason why. The Fighting Illini, after this game, they go to Purdue and play Purdue on Saturday. That is going to be a tough, or on the 24th. Is that Saturday? I can't remember, but it's a 2 o'clock game, so that must be Saturday. That is going to be a tough matchup for the Fighting Illini. This is a massive, one of the biggest look-ahead spots you can possibly have. Do I think they beat Maryland? Hell yeah. Do I think they beat Maryland by 20? I absolutely do not. Next on the docket, we got the Notre Dame Fighting Irish going on the road to take on number 22 North Carolina. Notre Dame, they're 10-8 on the season. They're 1-4 so far in ACC play. They were looking like a feisty team in the early goings, keeping things close against Ohio State, close against Kansas. A very competitive game against Houston. They beat Missouri. They beat TCU. But now the conference play is really getting in the swing of things. I mean, before that even, they lost to Purdue Fort Worth. That was an embarrassing one. Lost to California, lost to Clemson, lost to Miami, and their last time out lost at Virginia Tech pretty handily. So not a lot of things point in the right direction right now for the Fighting Irish, guys. It's been pretty rough. Jalen Harrelson, we have liked some of what we've seen from him, but this team is around 300th in the nation total offense. Their defensive numbers are okay. The rebounding numbers, though, are pretty weak. At Virginia Tech their last time out, obviously not as tough of a place to play as UNC. They shot 25% from 3, and they had a rebounding deficit. They didn't play much defense. They fouled a lot. It was a tough game. So we'll see what Notre Dame can do here on the road, taking on North Carolina. The Tar Heels are 14-4 on the season. They're coming off back-to-back losses, but those were out in California, and they are back home now. They lost a tough one at Stanford that could have gone either way, and then a very tough one at Cal that could have also gone either way. So this team finds themselves in a massive bounce-back spot. We've obviously liked what we've seen from Caleb Wilson this season. The Tar Heels are 95th in the nation total offense, but in the top 40 in rebounding. They're very, very good on defense. Just really seem to have struggled with that travel spot. That was did not treat them well going out there out in the West. So we'll see what they can do here playing at home. They are 11.5-point favorites. We've got a total of 148.5. Notre Dame is 10-8 against the spread this season, 4-1 against the spread on the road, 11-7 to the over. UNC is 9-9 against the spread this year, 7-4 against the spread at home, 11-7 to the under. With North Carolina being in a huge bounce-back spot after 2 losses in a row, and the fact that they've been so good against the spread at home, I think this is a good spot to take North Carolina. Notre Dame's having a rough time here recently. I think the Tar Heels pretty comfortably take advantage here at home, in a pretty much must-win game. Next on the docket, we're headed out to the Big East. We've got the Xavier Musketeers heading to Creighton to take on the Blue Jays. Xavier, they're 11-7 overall. They're 3-4 in conference play. They're coming off back-to-back conference wins. They knocked off Providence, then took down Butler, so got to give them a little bit of credit where credit is due. They played well in those games. Obviously, beating Butler isn't that huge of a deal, or Providence for that matter, but 3-4 in conference play. Trey Carroll is doing some good stuff, 17 points per game, nearly 50% from the field. Now, the rebounding numbers here for the Musketeers are pretty concerning. Not going to lie, the defense is not great either. They're not a team that's lighting up the scoreboard over the course of the season, but their last 2 games, they have shot the ball really, really well. So we'll see what they can do here, going on the road. Their last 2 in a row were at home. Their last road game, they lost against Marquette. Not a good look. So we'll see what happens here at Creighton. The Blue Jays, not quite as dominant as we've seen them in seasons past. They are 5-3 in Big East play. They are coming off of not great looking 93-88 loss at Providence, but they are back home here. The last time they were at home, they won a nail-biter over Georgetown. They got blown out at home by St. John's too. So this has not been an easy season for these Blue Jays guys. They don't have a monster go-to leading scorer to lean on. They're 200th in the nation total rebounding. Their defense is okay, but their offense is nothing to write home about. So not a boatload of positives here for the Blue Jays. Despite that, they are 6.5-point favorites here at home. We've got a total of 155.5. Xavier, they're 9-9 against the spread this year, 2-2 against the spread on the road, 12-6 to the over. Creighton is 8-11 against the spread this year, 4-6 against the spread at home, 11-8 to the under. This spot, guys, is not an enviable one for either team, I wouldn't say. All that being taken into consideration, I will take Creighton minus 6.5 at home. They are at home. I think that home court advantage has to kick in for them at some point. I'm not loving what I'm seeing from Xavier, but nothing from this one, guys, is going to make it anywhere near the pinned comment. Next up, guys, we have the Texas Longhorns heading to Kentucky to take on the Wildcats. Our misery continues as we see Purdue take the 2-point loss there to UCLA. They also blew their game late, being a 90% favorite when they were up by 6 or 7 with like a minute left in that game, and they eventually do find a way to win there. Yeah, brutal stuff. I don't know. It's a tough day out there. What are you going to do? The Longhorns, they come into this one 11-7 overall. They're fresh off a 4-point loss against Texas A&M. They were at home for that one too, so losing to Texas A&M probably feels pretty bad. We're liking what we're seeing from this team at times. They are a very good team on the boards. Their offensive numbers look great. The defense can be a little bit problematic, although they played an amazing defensive game against Vanderbilt, so it's a little bit tough. This is a hard team to figure out. I mean, so far in conference play, they're only 2-3 overall, but they've got some very good wins under their belt already, knocking off NC State. They played a very competitive game against number 5 UConn. They did a great job knocking off Alabama and Vanderbilt. So we'll see what they can do in this one. They're going on the road to taking Kentucky, and this Kentucky team not up to the level we are used to seeing over the years from Kentucky. The Wildcats are 12-6 this season. They're 3-2 in conference play. They are coming off a massive, potentially season-altering win there at number 24 Tennessee. They win that one by 2. It was an absolutely crazy win. They'll definitely take it, though. Now they got to, try and avoid the letdown spot. Kentucky made a big comeback there in the second half in that game. They shoot 46% from 3. They get kind of killed on the boards, which could be an issue for them in this one, but we'll see. They are playing at home. That's definitely a huge help for this team. We're liking what we're seeing from them offensively. Kind of. They're not necessarily a juggernaut. Their rebounding numbers, though, are concerning, and their defense has actually been pretty good. I have to give them a little bit of credit there. But looking at the numbers, they are 7.5-point favorites here at home. We've got a total of 154.5. Texas is 9-8 against the spread this year, 2-1 against the spread on the road, 10-7 to the over. Kentucky is 8-10 against the spread, 6-6 against the spread at home, 10-8 to the under. I'm not going to get involved in the total in this one. Maybe a slight lean towards over 154.5, but much better than that, guys. I will take the Texas Longhorns here, getting 7.5 points on the road. They haven't been a terrible road team. They've shown they can be a very competitive team on the road in their win at Alabama. I think Kentucky's not any worse of a place to play than Alabama, and I do think the Wildcats are a much worse team, so definitely give me Texas to keep this one within a couple possessions. Next up, guys, we're looking at the Cincinnati Bearcats going on the road to take on the number 1 Arizona Wildcats. Cincinnati, they're 10-8 on the season, 2-3 in Big 12 play. They're coming off back-to-back wins, though. They took down Colorado. Those both were at home. They took down Colorado at home and took down number 2 Iowa State, 79-70, an absolutely insane, very physical game, which definitely fits the Bearcats. They shot 29% from 3 in that game. They dominated the boards. They did a lot of things right, and we did see quite a few things done wrong there by the Cyclones, although the physicality in that game was pretty nuts. So we'll see if the Bearcats can avoid the letdown in this one. Obviously, that's their biggest win of the season, maybe the biggest win they're likely to get, although they have a chance here to knock off the number 2 and number 1 teams in the nation in back-to-back games. Defensively, Cincinnati is amazing. This is a tall, athletic group. Giving up 66 points per game is very, very elite level stuff. Their offense is great. Their rebounding is good, but maybe not transcendently good. And, well, everything about the team they're about to face is transcendently good, guys. The number 1 Arizona Wildcats are 18-0 on the season. They're 5-0 in conference play out there in the Big 12. They're coming off an 84-77 win at UCF, so very, very good work there. They beat Arizona State, beat TCU, beat Kansas State, and beat Utah. Now, this is going to be maybe a little bit of a test for them, but they are at home, so let's not get too worried. They're 13th in the nation total offense. They're 9th in the nation total rebounding. Their defensive numbers are elite as well. This team has plenty of length, plenty of athleticism, and they're more than willing to play whatever style they want in any particular situation. So we'll see what they can do in this one, see if they can avoid getting pulled down into the mud there with the Cincinnati Bearcats. Arizona, they're 14.5 point favorites at home in this game. We've got a total of 153.5. Cincinnati, they're 8-10 against the spread this year, 1-2 against the spread on the road, 14-4 to the under. They're one of the biggest under teams in college basketball. Arizona, 10-7-1 against the spread, 3-6-1 against the spread at home, 11-7 to the over. Guys, this is such a huge letdown spot for Cincinnati. I do worry a little bit just because of how big this team is and how crazy they're allowed to play sometimes, but I do think Arizona comes out well on top in this game, especially playing here at home. I think they'll get the calls that they need in this one, and I think the Wildcats here can definitely cover this 14.5 points. Rolling right along, we've got the Washington Huskies heading to Nebraska to take on the Cornhuskers. Now, Washington, they're 10-8 on the season. They're coming off a tough 80-63 loss at home against number 12 Michigan State. The game before that, they lost by 10 against number 4 Michigan, so this is a pretty rough stretch of schedule right here, guys. I mean, they're doing the best they can, but they are having to play through some absolute monsters. The Huskies have been good this season. Plenty of offense on this roster. They're 128th in the nation total points per game, though, despite having some very elite scoring. They're around the top 100 in total rebounding. Their defensive numbers, though, don't really get me going. They've got some bad losses on here, too. I mean, they lost at Seattle. That's not a great look. Other than that, maybe not a lot of terrible losses, but this team definitely has had some ups and downs. Nebraska this season, though, this is a team of exclusively ups. They're number 7 in the nation, despite the fact they're 18-0 overall. They're 7-0 to start Big Ten play. They're coming off a very nice blowout win there at Northwestern. Now they get to go back home and face Washington. They blew out Oregon. They beat Indiana at Indiana. They went into Ohio State and got the win there. They got that crazy 2-point win over number 9 Michigan State. This team is amazing. Price Sanford is a monster. Sam Hoiberg is a monster. This team is very, very, very good defensively. They're in the top 100 nationally in terms of overall offense. It's very difficult to find a lot of weaknesses here for this Nebraska Cornhuskers team, and they have a very, very nice home court advantage. Now, they do have to travel to Minnesota next, but I don't think that's a huge look-ahead spot. Washington, they've got Oregon on deck, so not a look-ahead spot for them at all. Nebraska's 11.5 point favorites. We've got a total of 50.5 in this one. Washington is 10-8 against the spread this year, 3-3 against the spread on the road, 10-7-1 to the under. Nebraska is 11-6-1 against the spread this year, 5-5-1 against the spread at home, 12-6 to the under themselves. I could actually wrap my head around under 150.5 in this game. I don't think that's beyond the realm of possibility. Taking an underplay and then taking the favorite does not feel very good, but I struggle to come up with a way to make it reasonable to fade Nebraska in this spot. They're playing at home. The last time Nebraska played at home, they got a very convincing win at the last time they played, they got that convincing win at Northwestern, but the last time they played at home, they absolutely destroyed Oregon, dismantled them. I know Washington is a significantly better team, but are they that much better, guys? I will definitely take the Cornhuskers here at minus 11.5. Rounding into the home stretch, we're looking at the Pepperdine Waves going on the road to take in the number 8 Gonzaga Bulldogs. Pepperdine, they're 6-14 on the season. They're 1-6 so far in WCC play. It has not been an easy time. They are coming off a 67-63 win over Portland, so I'll give them a little bit of credit for that, but they lost by 20 against San Francisco, lost by 20 at San Diego, lost by 5 at Pacific, so they've put up some decent games. They have already faced Gonzaga once this year, and they lost that one by 40, so not exactly a team that's had a lot of success. Not a lot of great season-long numbers either, so we'll see if they can put up a fight here against Gonzaga. The Bulldogs are 19-1 on the season, 7-0 in WCC play. They've got San Francisco on deck. They just obliterated Seattle U by 21. So we'll see what they can do here on the road, or playing at home, taking on we'll see. I mean, Graham Ike is a monster, 18 points per game. This team is 16th in the NCAA, putting up 90 points per contest. They're 13th in total rebounding, and they're a good defensive team. We've seen Gonzaga run a roughshod over this conference for many, many years. They're 29.5 point favorites in this game. We've got a total of 146.5. Pepperdine is 8-10 against the spread, 5-2 against the spread on the road, 13-5 to the under. Gonzaga is 12-8 against the spread this year, 5-3 against spread at home, 12-8 to the under themselves. You could talk me into under 146.5, but better than that, I will take Pepperdine, getting nearly 30 points in this game. I don't think Gonzaga's going to be locked in to really blow them out. They've got San Francisco and then St. Mary's on deck. Those are much tougher opponents. I don't think they're going to be worried at all about Pepperdine. I don't think they're motivated to blow this team out or anything like that. So I certainly think Pepperdine has what it takes to make this at least a semi-competitive game. The back door will definitely be open in this one. Last but not least, guys, we're headed out to the ACC. We've got the Virginia Tech Hokies going on the road to take on the Syracuse Orange. Virginia Tech kind of quietly 14-5 to start the year. They're 3-3 in ACC play. They're coming off a nice win over Notre Dame. The game before that, they lost a 1-point heartbreaker at SMU. Game for that, won by 3 against Carolina. Game for that, they lost by 1 against Stanford. You kind of see a pattern here. This team tends to play a lot of very, very, very close games. Hansberry's been good, 16 points per game, 50% from the field. Not going to complain about that. They're 88th in the nation total offense. Their rebounding numbers, maybe not elite, but their defensive numbers are good enough. They're a team that can make some noise out there in the ACC. They've already knocked off Virginia this year. We'll see what they can do. They also have some bad losses, so we'll see. You got to take the good with the bad sometimes. So we'll see what they do here at Syracuse. The Orange are 12-6 on the season, 3-2 in ACC play themselves. They're in a bounce back spot after a tough loss at Boston College. They lose that one 81-73. Not a great showing. Maybe they were in a look-ahead spot, although it doesn't really feel like much of a look-ahead spot to me. I think the main problem is Syracuse, just not a great offensive team. They're 243rd in the nation total offense. Don't have a good go-to leading scorer. They're 217th in the nation total rebounding. You can be a good defensive team, don't get me wrong, and that's a great thing to be. But at some point, you're going to have to score the ball on somebody. So we'll see if they can do that here against Virginia Tech. Syracuse is at home, so that definitely helps. They are 3.5-point favorites. We've got a total of 150.5 in this one. Virginia Tech, they are 11-8 against the spread this year, 3-0 against the spread when playing on the road, 11-8 to the over. Syracuse is 9-9 against the spread this season, 5-6 against the spread at home, and they are a 500 over-under team. Guys, I'll take Virginia Tech here getting 3.5 points. Their MO is to play 1, 2, or 3-point games. 3.5 is enough to cover that whether they win or lose. Give me the Hokies here against an offensively challenged Syracuse Orange team. Guys, that's all the games we have here for today. Do me a big favor. Take that 10th of a second and hit that like button. Hopefully that brings you good luck on all of your bets, and hopefully we're in for a big bounce back today. Subscribe to the channel if you're new around here. Big shout out to all the new subscribers. Let me know in the comments any questions you have about today's slate or anything else. I'm more than happy to get back to you. I appreciate everybody watching these videos. Make sure you're getting over to stumpthespread.com, checking out all the free stuff we offer over there, free picks tab, all the free email newsletter stuff, but also check out all the premium stuff, guys. We're in for a nice big bounce back day over there on the premium side. Guys, we'll see you right back here tomorrow, same time, same place, for more sports betting action.